Yo, 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 what is up, my peeps? It is your main man, Cop, here. We are back with another great stream for you. Gonna do a little bit of mount farming today. And see what happens. So how's everybody doing? Let's get her started, because we got to do a shorter stream today. Yeah, no 20, 30-hour streams today. It's gonna be just a little bit shorter. Anyway, let's turn the stream on. Oh, I forgot to turn the chat on. I better turn the chat on before we start so I can actually see what y'all are saying. Give me a second. This is the kind of professional, super duper elite professional 360 no scope kind of performance you guys have come to expect from me. I know. Go get the chat up. We get the stream up. There we go. Let's get started, shall we? How's everybody doing? I do feel bad, you know. I tell you that we had to cut that charity stream off when we did. Unfortunately, it was unavoidable. But we'll be back at it next Friday. So if you're watching the VOD or happen to be watching this and you don't know what happened at the end of the charity stream, we discovered that there is a glitch in the monk leveling buff. And in so much as it just doesn't exist. Apparently Blizzard's turned it off because there's some weird thing with when monks get touch of death. And we turned that off because without the monk leveling buff it was going to be almost... Well, it was going to be impossible for me to finish. It was darn near impossible anyway, but we came to the executive decision that when the anniversary event comes out, we're going to continue, and we'll use the token that comes with every anniversary event now to make up for not only the lack of a Dark Moon Fair, but for the monk buff. By having that token active all the time should pretty much even out for that. Plus it'll give good practice for next month when we give it another shot. Anyway, that's what happened to our charity stream, and I thank you for sticking with me and coming to hang out while we farm some mounts. That's just the kind of silliness I'm feeling like doing right now. Now I'm beginning to question whether my chat application is working or not. I regret nothing. Yeah, it looks like nobody's chatting. Everybody's in a chill, relaxed mood. No need to be chatting. Yum, 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 yum. I would have started this earlier. I had a little bit of an issue with my computer. It just was so slow. I didn't want to start streaming and have it go glitch, 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 glitch. That, plus I was working on some nefarious plans for the channel. We got stuff. We got plans, let me tell you. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we got plans. So right now we're just doing some Vortex Pinnacle runs. I generally don't do more than one on normal, one on heroic for this because it's I don't want to bore y'all. I might do a couple extra. This time, just because it doesn't appear too many people are watching me at the moment. So might do a couple extra just to until we have much of an audience. You can watch us do things like the Beware dance. I think we'll definitely be streaming tomorrow and Monday as well. Normally I would take Monday, Tuesday off, and perhaps Wednesday, depending on what the rating schedule is like with my guild. But I want to make up for losing that that charity stream. So we'll try and get some. We'll probably stream tomorrow night as well. Early morning, I have a favorite football team is in the semifinals, so I got to watch that. But we'll do some chill leveling tomorrow and grab one of my toons that I haven't leveled in a while, and maybe my enhancement shaman, that High Mountain Tauren. We'll do an allied race leveling tomorrow. That little orb was so stubborn, it procced my Tentacle of Gahoon. Nope. I swear, one of these days, this Drake will give me what I want. What I really, really want. I regret nothing. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Too fast. What's up, buddy? How's it going? Thanks for dropping by. Glad to have somebody in the chat who's actually going to chat. I was beginning to feel like I was talking to myself. Reset all instances. Oh, harsh, buddy. I'm sorry. You know what? You just apologize to your pug group and link the stream and let them know they can come and watch themselves if they want. That'll make things better for sure. There you go. Gotta blame it on something. Blame it on something. Blame it on the lag. Yeah, yeah. Blame it on the lag. Oh, oh. Telling you, that thing seems to think my presence in Sky won't be tolerated, but ain't been nothing any of them could do about it for a long time now. Gotta blame it on something. Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. Darn it, now I've got Milli Vanilli songs stuck in my head. That's okay. No, too fast. It didn't make it to the 24 hours. We kind of discovered that there was a bug. Blizzard had turned off the monk leveling buff. Something about when monks get Touch of Death. So they turned it off until they could fix that. I don't know. But that lack of that buff has probably cost me about 9 hours. So I knew I wasn't going to make it with that buff gone, right? So I made an executive decision, and I decided to especially because if I'd have known about that beforehand, I'd have made different choices. I'd have added in a dungeon here or there and done some dungeons for the quests and that kind of thing. I legitimately would have done things to save myself some time. So what I decided to do was cut the run in half. Not literally in half. I mean, I stopped at level 55, so it was almost in half. But what I'm going to do is bring it up. Once this goes live and I have the little token, 14th anniversary token, I'm going to use that to make up for the lack of having the monk buff and the lack of a Dark Moon Fair. I figure if I use that token constantly from level 55 through 120, it should make up for the lack of the Dark Moon. Well, it definitely will make up for the lack of the Dark Moon Fair, because of course it's 14% instead of 10, but it should also make up for the lack of the monk buff. Well, during every anniversary, you get a token, okay, that is essentially a buff to leveling. It increases the amount of experience and reputation you get by whatever percentage, and it's usually the number that they choose is the whatever anniversary it is. So like on the 10th anniversary, the token gave you 10% bonus experience and reputation, right? What's the 14th anniversary, so it will give you 14%. Then it works just like the Dark Moon Fair buff. You just, only it's an item in your inventory, you just press it. Yeah. Yeah, like if you log in during the anniversary, it'll be in one of the mails that the dev team sends you. I've been doing it for years now, so. So we'll do the second part, the last 70 or last 65 levels of the 1 to 120, with that anniversary token up, and that should make up for the lack of a Dark Moon Fair for sure, and hopefully the lack of a monk buff as well. I mean, it's only 4%, and the monk buff is 20%, but that anniversary token I'll be able to use from level 1 to level 120, right? Like, it's always there. So I'm figuring it'll work out. I'm on YouTube. Should be live on... Too Fast is watching me on YouTube. Hang on. I gotta check. Make sure my YouTube is live. Yeah, I am in fact live on YouTube. And it's set to public. I tap out. Whatever. YouTube hates me. I don't know why YouTube hates me. They just do. Yeah, no, the link from my my Twitter thing works. But like I say, I think YouTube hates me. I think YouTube has decided that to mess with me in any way possible. Because, I mean, why not, right? They didn't put up the charity streams, just unavailable for some reason. I can't even email YouTube to ask why. I am a frustrated panda right now. I could. Yeah. Well, I just assumed people were busy. Let's try this. Oh, is it 5 now? Hey, Italia, thanks for dropping by. Glad to have you. We got to level 55, Italia. What we discovered was there's a glitch in the monk leveling buff. They got rid of it, essentially, because something about when they rearranged monk talents and when they get them. So they disabled the monk leveling buff until they get things rearranged. They did this in 8.0. I didn't know. That cost me about 9 hours, so what I decided to do was to split the run up and do the second half of the run once the 14th anniversary starts, because when that starts there'll be a 14th anniversary token that will give us 14% experience, and you can just keep using that token. So I'm going to use that to make up for the fact that there's no Dark Moon Fair, because there'll be no Dark Moon Fair then, and B, because there'll be no monk buff. Now, the monk buff is 20%, but it only lasts for 60 levels, whereas the anniversary token can be used at any level. So oh, we're starting to get some more viewers. Good, good, good. Hey, son of Spartacus. Happy to be seen again, buddy. We're just doing some chill mount farming, so just something to get me back into the streaming groove, so to speak. I think I missed a comment as I scroll back up. I see Spirit Penguins or Short Punky said, yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Like I said, YouTube doesn't like me. Thanks, buddy. I know it really is. The glitch was devastating mentally as well, because when we finally figured out why it wasn't there, I was right at a place where things had slowed way down, and we're going to be slowed down for like 25, 30 more levels, and it was just, it really began to weigh on me. So that's another reason why I decided to spread up. I don't know what's wrong, Punky. I don't know. I don't understand YouTube, why they hate me. Son of Spartacus, that's not weird. I'm having fun leveling my my Resto Shaman. So that is not weird at all, let me tell you. I'll tell you my opinion, Hitalia. I'm not a Diablo player. It's one of those games I was meant to play but never did. So really it doesn't affect me. So I'm not really worried about it. One way or t'other. There you go, Punky. Always Pokemon Go. Only play on my thing I play on my phone is like Free Cell, so. But I think at the very least the announcement was mishandled, and the guys doing the announcement probably mishandled the reaction they got. Well, there's some things they just can't do on phones, Italia. There really is. Like, you cannot do a game like World of Warcraft on a phone. It's just not possible. For the same reason that it's really, really tough to do it with a controller, you couldn't do it on a phone. There's just too much stuff. Like, look at all the stuff that I've got assigned to my hotbars. And imagine trying to do that on a phone. You know, imagine trying to add stuff like your weak auras and your other interface add-ons and all that kind of stuff that people love to have for World of Warcraft. So, I know for at least World of Warcraft it won't happen. Hearthstone's been on the phone since day one, so that's not even an issue. Yeah, exactly. It's impossible to tell you, for sure. But yeah, Hearthstone's been on a phone since day one. That's not even an issue. What else? Overwatch. Overwatch might work on a phone, but again, I don't know. I think you're going to lose something when it comes to graphics and sound quality when you put something that big on a phone. Well, exactly. Yeah, that'd be interesting, Son of Spartacus. They would need to um, they would need to expand the system considerably because the battle pet system that they've got on Warcraft now is very limited in comparison to Pokemon. Yeah, absolutely, Punky. I think it was mishandled for sure. Not even a question. It was mishandled. I think there was some expectations on both sides that were not met. I mean, people went in there expecting to hear about Diablo 4 or World of Diablo, and that kind of thing just wasn't going to happen. And the devs went in there thinking, well, it's a new IP for Diablo. The people will love it. And, of course, that didn't happen. It was a perfect storm because they literally had nothing else for Diablo. So not only did the devs put all their eggs in one basket, um, there was so much more expectation from the fans, and it all just kind of crashed together and kept heating up more and more. We all learn. We all learn from our mistakes, and so does Blizzard. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Blizzard wants to do a Diablo 4 is the thing. I don't even know that there's a Diablo 4 in the works. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard anything about it, so... Darn it, DBM, don't tell me how to live my life. If I want to stand in Twilight Flames, I'm going to stand in Twilight Flames. Don't get me wrong, I hope there is a Diablo 4 because I would hate to see such a storied franchise end like that. Oh, okay, Son of Spartacus. I did not know that. I hadn't heard anything about it, so... See, that's just it, Hatalia. I don't think they did expect backlash. I think they just figured people would be happy to have a new IP of Diablo that everybody could play and enjoy until Diablo 4 was out. But no, true for sure, for sure, JJ, for sure. It's not. It's definitely not. Hey, Veltox, what's up, buddy? Oh, grats. That's awesome, buddy. Doing good. Doing good. I've been working on a surprise for the stream. Last couple days getting things set up and still got a bunch of work to do on it, but apparently YouTube decided to not publish my my stream to people's feeds. Hey, Mohammed. Not too much, buddy. We're just doing a chill mount farming stream. Just a little something to pass the time this afternoon/evening. Yeah. But that's okay. Oh, for sure, Hatalia. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the next time they announce a mobile game. Hopefully it's not at BlizzCon. Hopefully they've learned their lesson that BlizzCon is bigger than mobile game announcements. come now. It's true. Like I say. Oh, that's where he is. No. I did not look up any of the Belmonts on Google. Been busy working. Getting stuff ready for future streams. Night, Italia. Thanks for dropping by. Like I say, I've been working on stuff. One of my guildies has a really fun monk name. Hitmonree. I guess it's the name of a Pokemon. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Appreciate it. Drunk Girls, that's a good name, Beltox. Now, guys, if you've never seen me do this fight before, I'm going to apologize right off the top. There is an insta-kill mechanic that I have to deal with, so even though this is really old content, I really need to deal with it, so I'm not going to be reading the chat very much. And you're going to hear the word beware about 10 billion times. So I apologize for that off the top. This is the mighty bee bear. Come here, you. Okay, now we can start counting. 1, 2, 3. It does, doesn't it? I think that's 4. 5. So every time I look away from the chat, I lose count as to how many of these bloods I've got. 6. So I kind of have to look straight at the screen. So I apologize if I'm not as interactive as I normally am. 7. Eight. Again, sorry. 9. I think that's 9. There we go. Now, come here. Took my eyes off the prize, guys, and that's what happens anytime you don't you stop paying attention for like a second in that fight, and boom. Let's try that again, shall we? Sorry about if that's a little bit loud for you, Muhammad. Honestly, I apologize. It's not much I can do about it. Okay, corruption. Come here. Okay, that's all he is. Okay, now I can start counting little blood droplets. 1. Well, I appreciate that you think I'm funny. I'll do my best not to roll off against Veltox. 2. 3. That's going to be 4. 5. 6, 7. Something tells me you're trying to trick me, Veltox. 8. Come here, you. Oh, good. Darn it. Okay, come on. Come on, you 3 amalgamations. Okay, now we can start counting bloods. Nice. 1. 2. That'll be 3. Something tells me you're trolling me, Veltox. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. There we go. Now, just need to go like that. Like that. Come on. Come on. Soak it all up. That's right. Blow that armor plate off. Come on now. There we go. Now we can start counting 1. Oh no, that tentacle gahoon. It's gonna kill things that I don't want it to kill. 3. Oh, come on, spawn some more bloods. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's kind of the plan, is to kill them all at once. 8. 9. However, I've never been good enough at standing in the middle to avoid getting thrown off. Soak it up. Come on, soak all that up. That's right. You knock that last plate off. Ah! There we go. Mr. Rush Brown, I'm level 120. We're not leveling at the moment, but yeah. Evening, Stan. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for dropping by. Glad to have you. Happens to all of us, Beltox. Happens to all of us. Good to hear, buddy. That is indeed good to hear. It's true. Not very good, Stan. We found that there was a glitch in the monk leveling buff. Basically, Blizzard disabled it because of when they changed when monks were getting their touch of death, is what I understand from what people were telling me. So that cost me about 9 hours. So I wasn't going to be able to get her done. It was one of those things where losing that much time that early on was pretty much fatal to the attempt. So I made a choice to split the run into 2 separate runs. We did the first one, we got up to level 55 and we stopped. And the second one, second half of the run we're going to do when the anniversary event comes live, because then there will be a token there that will give us 14% bonus experience. So we're going to do the rest of the run from 55 to 120 then. Probably starting Friday afternoon, November 16th. Because there'll be a token there, right, that you can do. That should make up for not only the lack of the Dark Moon Fair, but for the lack of the monk buff, because I can use that token throughout it. Now I just have to push a button and the buff pops up. So oh, nice, Stan. I think you like them. They're really quite good. As I said, their leveling buff is gone, but at the moment. But you know, hey, Kill Die. Thanks for dropping by. Glad to have you, buddy. How's it going? Oh, wait. Yeah, not so much, buddy. No mount. Okay, next we are going to... Excellent. We'll go try the blue protodrake next. Kill Die, it was wasn't good. We discovered that there was a glitch. The monk leveling buff had been disabled by Blizzard. Because I guess from what people told me, it's about when monks get the touch of death. Yeah, I saw that. I have no idea, Kill Die, why that doesn't work. I can't contact YouTube because they've removed my ability to do so. And they didn't even publish my stream today to a bunch of people's feeds, apparently. So, but anyway, so what we decided to do, because that monk buff is so overpowered, it was the only thing that was making a 1 to 120 possible. We decided to split the run into two separate runs, and we're going to do the second part of the run once the anniversary event starts. Because when the anniversary event is live, you have a little token that gives you bonus experience. It'll do 14%, which should make up for the lack of the Dark Moon Fair and the lack of the monk buff. Oh, it did for you. Good, good, good. I'm glad it did for you. There was there are a couple more people watching in Twitch chat because it didn't pop up on their YouTube feed. I say YouTube has it in for me now. No, Veltox, that's kind of goes against the whole, you know, spirit of the challenge, let's put it that way. Sure. Oh, I know it does. Like, it's... Unless you know what the heck you're doing really well, it takes a long time. I think, what was it, Metro had his done in 12, 13 hours, something like that, when it first dropped. But he'd leveled so much in on the beta that... Well, I've got a thing for that too, right? I do. Well, today we're going in here. Thing is, I haven't actually properly leveled a toon through Legion content in a long time either, so it will make a good it'll make a good practice run for next month, when we can have the Dark Moon Fair going for the whole time, and hopefully the monk buff will be fixed by then. And then but yeah, I figured why not hop on tonight, do a nice chill mount farm, and maybe do some more chill and less stressful leveling tomorrow night. And well, that's something I'm considering, Veltox, but really, you're not saving a huge amount of time using allied races. Like, you really... Yeah, every minute counts. Like, you're saving... In that run, using an allied race would have saved me 2 hours. So, what I might do is, in the December run, if the monk buff's not back, I might use an allied race. That's a compromise I'd be willing to make for December if the monk buff isn't back yet. Because, unfortunately... If we all know that 8.1 has some serious nerfs to leveling XP, so that it goes a lot quicker. 8.1 drops here, okay? I will be doing the one next month here, and we'll probably end here the day before 8.1 drops. Yeah, and again, that's another compromise I might be willing to make. And even if you look at the rules. I'm just going to jump off this cliff here. I regret nothing. If monk buffs aren't back, I might consider that once we get to WoD next month. And if you look at the rules that I've got posted up for 1 to 120, it allows for the garrison WoD, the WoD garrison pots. It really does. So that might be something that I would consider. As kind of a backup if the monk buffs aren't back. Hey, Scholar! Happy to see you again as well, buddy. Thanks for dropping by the stream. Glad to have you. Well, I'm sorry to have confused you, buddy. I didn't realize that when I cut it off when it did, that YouTube was going to just make it unavailable. Because normally what happens is they'll show the last 2 hours of it. I'm fine, buddy. I'm fine. I'll explain what happened. Yeah. We found out, Scholar, that the monk buff that I relied on to make it even remotely possible. Hey, Shoho. Doing great today. How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping by. the monk buff, leveling buff that I rely on to make it possible, had been disabled by Blizzard. I guess the way that they do it, the monk buff, is you go in, you do a quest every 10 levels, and you get 20% XP for an hour. Well, because of when Touch of Death is available, some of those quests aren't doable, according to Blizzard. I mean, they are. I've never needed Touch of Death to complete even the ones where you're supposed to use Touch of Death. But, whatever. Apparently they're not doable. So, they disabled all of them. And disabled the monk buff entirely. That was going to make the run 9 hours longer. It was already at the edges of my physical possibilities to do the monk buffs as it was, or do it with the monk buffs as it was. That extra 9 hours would have stopped me from being able to do it. So what I decided to do was, instead, we split it in two. We finished the first one at level 55, pretty much when we determined that monk buffs were gone and weren't going to be available. And we're going to do 55 to 120 once the anniversary event starts, probably Friday afternoon. Because the anniversary events inherently have in them a token that gives you a bonus to experience. This is the 14th anniversary event, so it will have a 14% token. That should make up for the lack of the Dark Moon Fair, and a little bit for the lack of the monk buff. It's only 4%, but it will be available from 55 to 120, where the monk buff is really only available from 20 to 60. So, between that and garrison pots, depending on where we are time-wise when I hit WAD, that should make the run doable, and it will give me a really good idea of paths to take and practice for when I do December's run, right? Let's see, dungeon difficulty, heroic. Yeah, I didn't really either, but it just wasn't there, and a lot of people Googled it for me, and found that it had been disabled by Blizzard. At least that's what they were telling me. I choose to believe them because the monk buff just wasn't working. Like, I would get the breadcrumb quest to go to the Peak of Serenity, and then there was no quest there to get the buff. Yeah, it's one of those stealth things that, unless you were leveling a monk and knew what you were looking for, you wouldn't see. Right? Which is more than a little annoying, to be honest. Ooh, I'll just gather some of this here lich bloom, since it's in my way. I know, Scholar, I know. Trust me, it was something that upset me deeply that they would do that. And the thing about it is, I was looking for the monk buff, right? Because I know what I'm doing. I've leveled a lot of monks. And, yeah, I know, buddy. Well, there's always Drustvar and Tierguard Sound, and of course the doing those missions in Zandalar. Apparently, doing the missions on the other continent is one of the best ways that you can get experience. They're one of the most lucrative, for the amount of time they take, they're very lucrative. Absolutely, buddy. I'm the same way. I still need to... Oh, that's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll see if we can finish off Tiergard Sound. Because I want to finish off the story. Yeah, level 30 and up is gone. I don't know, Frog. Shall we do it then, summoned by the might of the bee-bear, by the blood of the great frog-toad? I call upon the Loa of Mount Drops, the great Ian Hazakostas. You will drop your Mount Scotty the Ruthless. Give me the blue Proto-Drake. No mount. Well, next up is Ashes, so... Liz has been talking to YouTube. YouTube was like, "We hate him, Blizzard. You best not give him any mount drops." Oops. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. I didn't mean to click on Undercity. I meant to click on Org. That's what I get for making jokes about the YouTube. Sounds good, buddy. No worries. Thanks for being here at the very least. Much appreciated. Yeah, YouTube don't like me no more. They didn't. I have no idea why my last stream isn't up. It just isn't. The charity stream is not up at all. It's just not. Yeah, it says this stream is unavailable. Oh, nice. Yep, YouTube police, you're not allowed to stream anymore. We hate you. I'm trying something. Because I accidentally clicked on Undercity instead of Orgrimmar. Oh, I won't get lost, Punky. Don't worry. I'm just trying to remember where it is. I'm trying to go... Magic Quarter, that's correct. Okay, Veltox, have a good night. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Oh, good, it is still here. The only cops I'm hiding from, Punky, is the YouTube police. Man, if I keep this up, pretty soon there's going to be a new hashtag movement, give cop a chance. Oh, and Netrix, I think I forgot to thank you for the kind follow. And for that, I apologize, but thank you. Hashtag cop deserves better. Oh, thanks, buddy. Cop life matters. I know, buddy. I know. But I do like to acknowledge it when people take the time out of the day to hit the follow. Scholar? Tough to say. I really like alchemy because you get the flasks and the pots, and inscription's pretty good because you can do the Dark Moon trinkets. Plus, if you're like a mage or something that uses a staff, you can make the weapon for it. Engineering is always nice to level, or not always nice to have for sure. And right, mining and herbalism for leveling. Frog's got it there. Not playing. No, not playing on an SSD just yet. Don't have an SSD yet. Wow, those blood elves are good. That one could actually channel Blizzard while it was dead. I would imagine, Netrix. I would imagine it is. Yeah, I was heavily questioning the system on Thursday morning, Frog, trust me. Well, if you got alchemy, that means you've got a lot of herbalists as well, so you could always do inscription. Makes it easier to level the to grind the rep because you can get those contracts, right? Hey, Courtney. Thanks for dropping by. Glad to have you. It's true, but it's nice to be able to make them yourself. Plus, you can make your Vantis rune yourself that way. Let's see, it's this guy first. No, it's Thanadred the Darkener. Yeah. Courtney, we got to level 55 before we discovered that there was a glitch in the monk buff experience buff, which is kind of what makes the whole run possible. And what I decided to do was to split the leveling challenge into 2 phases. Yeah, it will be continued on Friday when the... sorry, it was actually somewhat concentrating. It'll be continued on Friday when the anniversary event goes live, because during the anniversary you get a little token that you can just keep pressing that gives you an experience buff. So you'll press the token, you'll get an hour of 14% extra experience, right? That will make up for the lack of the Darkmoon Fair and partially for the lack of the monk buff. It's still going to take all weekend, even if I start first thing Friday morning when we get that thing up. So I'm thinking for the last 65 levels, we'll probably finish Monday morning and start Friday afternoon. So it's still going to be a long run. But that way it provides, it gives a really good practice run for the higher level stuff that I haven't done much of, and in the case of Legion I haven't done much of lately. Hey, Sarah Nerf. I should just put a video out. Yes, you definitely should. Sarah Nerf, we discovered that there was there's a glitch in the monk leveling buff. And that monk leveling buff saves me about 9 hours. Hey, Defaced, we made it to level 55. This is, I was saying to the Sarah Nerf there that we discovered there's a glitch with the monk leveling buff. It's been disabled by Blizzard. So that... And that buff saves me about 9 hours worth of leveling. So... What I decided to do was I decided to split it into 2 pieces. When the anniversary event begins, we will use the token that comes with it. Oh, trust me, Frog, I will now. But I'm going to make a video of it before I go live with my stream tomorrow. But there's some other stuff that I'm doing that I wanted to finish before I made that video. So when the anniversary event is live, we'll finish the stream off. We'll finish the leveling challenge off. There's a little, gives you bonus experience, and I think also bonus reputation or honor. Yeah, either that or it's a brand new realm or there's a glitch. One of the two. Oh, Kale. Okay. Oh, gee. Oh, dear. Well, maybe nobody on your realm got Mythic Argus. It's entirely possible. I mean, it would be really odd if they didn't, but it would be a heck of a lot easier to overpower now. I might do a hunter one time, Courtney, but as I said, with that buff, monk is just overpowered. Yeah, people tend to miss it. You know how when you log in during the anniversary and you get a little package in your mail from the devs? Well, one of them is a little token. It just has the little Warcraft logo on it. You just click on it. It gives you an hour of XP and, as I said, I believe reputation buff. And the buff is whatever anniversary it is, it's that percentage. So on the 10th anniversary, it was 10% buff. On 11th, it's 11%. Well, 9 hours is really big, Courtney. When you're looking at something that you estimate will cost take you between 72 and 96 hours. 9 hours is a huge spread, right? It's enough to really make it kind of difficult to complete, especially when we found out that there was a problem. Because it's not like there was some, Blizz made a huge announcement about it. But there's, yeah, like I say, I wouldn't mind doing a hunter one, but the monk buff is huge. Like, it's 9 hours. It's insane. And the 9 hours you're saving is between level 20 and level 80, which can be arguably be the most mind-numbing parts of it, right? Well, apparently it was a deliberate thing. They disabled it because of they changed when monks get their touch of death, and touch of death is needed to do some of the quests that give you the buff, which I would dispute with Blizzard. I would say it's not necessary. Hey, Mr. Raptor. How's it going, buddy? Good to be seen by you. Sorry that stream ended when it did. Don't worry, it'll be back. The second half of that stream, that charity drive, will be back on Friday when the anniversary token goes live. Well, yeah, it's the easiest part, and it's one of those things where it can be mind-numbingly boring, and it's long, right? Because it's a 60-level bracket, so... it should be in the info there, Scholar. Oh, there, you found it. Good, good, good. I'm thinking later because I want to make sure the token is there. I'm thinking Friday afternoon. Again, a lot is going to depend on when I wake up type of thing. I'm not trying to be vague about it. I just want to make sure I get as much sleep as possible before I start it. Because it's still going to be, you know, probably a 60 to 70 hour stream. So a lot of what happens with the work I'm trying to do over the next few days is going to determine how much sleep I get, when I start it, all that kind of stuff. So I got plans. I got plans to deal with stuff. Let's just put it that way. And once I get the plans I put in motion done and stuff set up, I'll let y'all guys know about it. Yeah, and that's just it too. Like, the thing that's interesting about it is, and that a lot of people don't quite get, is that there's a lot of resources put into making it that once they're used, right? So makes it awfully difficult to when you don't make it. And and there's a lot of resources that I was trying to use that I can't replace. By that I mean like fully upgraded Legion legendaries. They just don't exist anymore because people aren't doing that content. So in order for me to farm up a Legion legendary for the next one would take several dozen hours of time, because I want to farm up a specific one, right? Because you can equip Legion legendaries at level 101, and there's like epic 101 drops that you can equip that have like a 260 eye level and stuff. Like it's ridiculous the amount of stuff you can put in there that will make it easier on you. I wonder. Can a guy just go down this way and head to the stables? Nah. Oops. Went the wrong way to check something out. Turned out not to work. And because I did that, I fell down. And now I'm somewhat lost. Well, this is just silly at this point. If you ever wanted a guide on how to get lost in Karazhan, there we are. That's where I was trying to go to. I swear it was. I am just the absolute worst at this game, I swear. Sit there thinking to myself, hey, I wonder if I can do this. Shortcut my time a little bit. Make it quicker for the nice people watching me try to do a mount farm. I'll just go over here and... oh, I guess I can't. Turn around. No idea where I came from. You know what, Courtney? You probably still have a better idea of your way of how to get around in Kara than I do. I kid you not, my sense of direction is legendary in this game and how bad it is. Not only that, but Kara itself destroys me. There is a stream where I was farming transmog, and I've never been able to get the chess event done because I just could never figure it out. It never made any sense in my brain, right? and so I was trying to do a transmog farm, and I mentioned that I've never managed to get the chess event done, and one of my lovely viewers there says, oh yeah, he says, not a problem. He says, I've soloed that chess event dozens of times. I'll come with you. I said, great. I said, added him to my friends list. He came over to Karazhan. We went up to the chess event. I actually managed to glitch the game so badly, it crashed on me. I like broke the world, let's put it that way. To this day, if I go to Dungeons and Raids and Burning Crusade, see all these dungeons and raids that are done? Yeah. I'm the same. I've literally made my raid leader go, can somebody summon Cop? He gotten lost again in between boss pulls. Oh yeah, you joined the guild, didn't you? It was you that joined the guild, wasn't it? Names is another thing I'm really bad at, by the way. It's gonna be fun. Telling you right now, you cannot be much worse than our buddy Harry there. He lives in England, eh? And as such, when we raid, it's really late for him. Because England is, well, 5 hours ahead of the East Coast in the States and 7 hours ahead of me. So when we start raiding, it's like 5 o'clock for me. It's like midnight for Harry. What was it? It was Tomb of Sargeras. We were... Can't remember what the boss was, but he fell asleep during a boss fight while he was streaming, because he was streaming the boss fight, right? And ran off the platform while he was asleep. And he was on stream. Of course, he didn't answer when people started talking to him. You know, like, I think Metro said to him something like, Harry, you need to release, right? And Harry didn't say anything. He didn't release. So Metro, being the clever guy he was, went and checked Harry's stream and saw him asleep. It is funny, let me tell you. Now, I have rolled and flying serpent kicked off of ledges before, but never because I was asleep. I should actually clear all these ads out before I pull the boss, because I believe pulling him pulls all the ads anyway. Make the boss fight a lot easier if there are no ads to pull. Not that I've heard, Queso, but I'm not sure. Every year there's something new and fun that they just don't announce until it happens. I'm actually quite looking forward to it because, as I mentioned, I'll be using that as an excuse to finish the charity stream. Excuse is the wrong word, but you get my point. Good, good. That should prevent the boss from summoning an army of followers. Well, maybe not as big an army anyway. Okie dokie. Give me your mount. Give it to me. Give it to me by the blood of the mighty frog toad. By the will of the bee bear. I summon the great Loa of Mount Drops, Ian Hazakostas. You will drop your mount, attunement. I got a pair of galoshes. It's no mount, but heck what is. Time to go hit up ZG. You know, the way that Hippogriff mount was on fire, you'd almost think he was the one you got for doing the pre-patch stuff on the Alliance side. That's not what I wanted. Come on. Come on, map. Work. There we go. There we go. Nah, it's unfortunate that Harry doesn't raid with us anymore, but given the time difference, it's kind of understandable, Courtney. It's one thing about our guild I'll say is that it's never boring in raid. And the people always know when to kind of turn it on. To stop goofing around and start getting serious about stuff. Oh, one day, Bloodlord Mandakir, one day you'll drop them out. It really is too fast, but it's the legacy loot rules, right? The idea being is you're getting the same loot you would get if you were an entire group of 5 people. So in a group of 5 people, it would be perfectly normal that you might get 2 of the same thing. You know, maybe... for instance, if me and Frog were pugging ZG back in Cataclysm, he'd be a druid. I'd be, well, I'd probably be a rogue if I was doing leather, but you know what I mean. 2 of those might drop, we'd each get 1. Everybody'd be happy. It's the compromise we get from actually having the proper amount of loot drop. Because, of course, people went nuts when Blizzard said personal loot was going to be applied to everything. And Blizzard was like, okay, you want to keep the same amount of loot, you want to keep it proper. We understand that for transmog purposes and mount runs and all that. You want to have the same shot at getting all the stuff, so we'll make it that. Let's have a look and see what we're doing next. Oh, good, we're off to Pandaria next. Do I have... No, I don't. That's okay. I'll just use my Dalaran Hearthstone and take the portal from there. Alright guys, I am going to take a quick bio break while this portal is going, and I will be right back. And we're back. Yo, 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 JGAA. How's it going, bud? Thanks for dropping by. God, I love the rain in Warcraft and in real life, to be honest. It's my favorite weather. We're just doing us a little mount farming, relaxing, chilling, hanging out, enjoying the lovely weather in Pandaria. And actually, while I do that, I'm going to quickly check. At the moment, this is my Horde Panda Monk. This is my main. Just waiting on Galleon to appear. What the heck? I don't know why that was there, but okay. Sorry, just checking on a little business while I wait for Galleon. Trying to keep the picture of my head in frame. Woohoo! Somebody jack-o'-lanterned me. You gotta like that. This is the first time I've noticed that, and probably because it's just somebody leveling an alt, but there's a member of our guild who has a High Mountain Tauren druid named Legendary. It's even more... Absolutely, JG. This is my battle tag. Please feel free. The only restriction I'll mention is if my friends list fills up, I will start removing people so I can add new people, and I'll remove people who've been off the longest. This is, at the moment, Netrex, this is Son of Galleon we're looking for. Son of Galleon's saddle will drop. We hope. Accepted. Yeah, the world bosses in Pandaria all drop mounts, if I'm not incorrect. I don't know, Punky. That easily sounds like it could have been something our good buddy Ren could have thought up too. It's another one of those ones where I'm gonna need to be quick with the amount of people here. Yeah, I'm quite happy with my monk named Grasshopper. Probably. I'm thinking. Legendary. Thanks, Tora. Big fan of David Carradine's work, so. Yeah, Netrex, it's gonna be huge. It's what, like 15-20% between between like 20 and 65 or something like that. I don't know. I've heard differing things about it, so I could not say. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say it shows the orange legendary color for legendary. Very nice. Very nice. The nice thing about these Pandaria rares is they had their spawn times reduced to 15 minutes, so every 15 minutes one will spawn. Still makes it a bit of a long wait for those of us farming mounts, but... Oh, I don't know, Tora. I'd probably be a Tauren. Tauren or Space Goat. It's true, Bunky. He must know bear lives matter. Oh, dear. That gives me an idea. I know what I'm going to do to reward my awesome viewers as soon as I've finished killing Galleon here and I'm on a flight path. Oops. I didn't mean to click there. My hands, they shake. Nope, no mount, just gold. It's true. I was thinking more temperament-wise and the fact that I am not a small person. Okay, 1 keg. Where are you? 1 keg. There you are. I know. I can't wait to level 1. Wow. Jeepers creepers. Ah, excellent. Excellent. Alright, guys. Because you guys are all so awesome, I started a flash sale at my merchandise store. Everything is inexpensive at the moment. So feel free to stock up on some cop merchandise and at a bit of a reduced price. I believe they say it's 25% off, but I could be mistaken. Hey Lee, thank you for logging on at watching the beginning. We discovered there's a glitch in the monk leveling buff that made it impossible to finish. Essentially, the leveling buff isn't there, and that leveling buff saves me around 9 hours when I'm doing the run. So what I decided to do was to call it. Once we realized for certain that the monk leveling buff was gone and it wasn't coming back, we decided to stop the stream and cut the charity run into 2. So we did up to level 55. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the second half of it starting Friday when the anniversary event is live and the anniversary leveling token is available, because that will make up for the lack of a Dark Moon Fair and hopefully it will make up for some of the missing monk buff. That plus the rest, it will make it a lot more doable. So that's essentially what happened. It's unfortunate, but not really something I could control. And I think the compromise I came up with is probably pretty good. Like, the monk leveling buff is a 20% buff, and Darkmoon Fair is 10, but the token is available all the time, so there should be some evening out there. Plus, I might use some of the garrison pots. If you read the rules on the 1 to 120, those are actually allowed, but I never intended to use them. So I might use some of those to mitigate the leveling experience as well. So long story short, we got nowhere near as far as we wanted to, but yeah, honestly, here comes Shaw. Honestly, rather than pound my head against the wall, and it's where the monk leveling buff is available as well. You know, it's available between level 20 and level 6 and level 80. Arguably the hardest section, simply because it's easy to lull yourself into a false sense of how easy it is, and that way it's easy to bore yourself to sleep almost. I hate to say that. Plus it alters the route, because, you know, I have a certain route planned of how I'm going to do it, and it makes it impossible to do that route because you're planning on doing X number of levels in Y zone. Well, all of a sudden that doesn't get you as many levels doing the certain amount of quests in that zone, right? Link no work? Hang on. What about the one in the description, Punky? There should be one in the description of the video as well. Oh, you know why? Because it's got a pound sign in it. Yeah, and it's stopping at the pound sign. So if you click on the link, it should take you to the place where you can tip, and then there should be a little thing there you can just click over to the merch store. But that reminds me, I should tweet that out as well. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, it just seems like every time I try and do it, there's something that goes wrong. There's something catastrophic that goes wrong. No, no, Punky. You're good luck. There, I tweeted it out, Punky. You should that link in the tweet should work a heck of a lot better for you. On my feedback on BlizzCon, I thought it was really well done. Again, I'm not a Diablo player. A BFA? Oh, I love BFA. The only thing that's even remotely wrong with it is the Azurite armor drops, and people are a little bit overreacting to them, in my opinion, anyway. To the problem in any case, it's one of those things where a vocal minority of the community is so toxic it overwhelms the good that's actually there, right? I love BFA. Absolutely amazed so far at how good it is. Honestly, I would have liked if the leveling was a little quicker in BFA. But that's going to be taken care of in 8.1. Along with a lot of other really good... But I thought BlizzCon went really well. I won't comment on Diablo just because I'm not a Diablo player. It's one of those games I was meant to play but never really got into. But I think it went really well. I loved all the announcements. I loved Warcraft 3 Remastered. I thought we were going to get that last year. Yeah, you know what, Frog? That's absolutely fair. It is. That's an absolutely fair assessment of where BFA is. No mount. I wonder if we're gonna have time for Siege of Orgrimmar. Because I don't think we will. I think I'll be lucky to get Blackrock Foundry done. I really only got about another hour. Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, too, Frog, I think with how amazing Legion was, anything after that was going to be a bit of a letdown. It didn't matter. And I mean, to be fair, Legion started off slowly, too. I mean, there were issues in the start of Legion where people were complaining about the legendary drop rate and people not having legendaries by the time the raids came out, and that kind of thing as well. But it all worked out in the end. Nor did I. Start of expansion is hard for me. Start of an expansion usually means I get really sick, like a couple of weeks into it. I have to take a bunch of time off. Because I spend so much time grinding my face against it. Yeah. Okay. And now we attempt to get an alar. I sit there and spam one button, hoping to target the silly critter. So we're going to do Nalak, we'll do Horadon, we'll go to Blackrock Foundry, we'll do that, and then we'll see how much time we've got left and see if we can fit Siege of Orgrimmar in. I know the feeling, buddy. I know the feeling. I still have somewhere in my bank keys to the treasure scenario where you could just run around and gather treasure from the Throne of Thunder on a timer. Well, seeing as Nalak just spawned and just died. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear. What shall we do? It's a 15-minute wait. I don't think I'm willing to wait. I'd much rather just go hit up Horadon, get Blackrock Foundry down, and maybe do Siege of Orgrimmar, maybe come back to the Isle of Thunder. Than sit there for 15 minutes, you know? You know? Because I got people I'm trying to entertain. It's true, Frog, and it really is. I really do like this battle pet. The charity one from BlizzCon. Really, really nice. That dude was just spinning over there. I like ran away and killed a bunch of other different people. He was just going to sit there and spin, waiting for me to run into his... Apparently that pole arm has just never dropped for me before. No worries, buddy. I had a flight path. I had some time. I had some time to reply to a comment. Yeah, and YouTube. Yeah, this is a horde toon. This is absolutely a horde toon, buddy. This is my main. Hey, Wetsu. Yep, level 120. We're farming mounts, so while that's doable on lower level characters, it's never ideal. Especially with the stat squish, it's not the best thing in the world. Level 120, I level 366. About 6 or 7 hours. It wasn't anywhere near as tiring as it normally is, because I only went, what, 21, 22 hours before we called it and decided to split the thing into two. Didn't even think to to summon the great bee bear and the low amount drops. Curses. Curses, I say. Whomper does have a very dopey face, for sure. Well, this is the first time I'm hearthing to my garrison today. I can't wait to be disconnected like I am every single time I hearth to my garrison for the first time. Yeah, normally after one of those, I'll sleep for about 9 hours. I'll wake up, putter around for 2 or 3 hours, and go back to sleep for 3 hours, and then pretty much be fine. I slept for about 5, 6 hours, maybe 7 at most. No, actually that's not true, because I hearthed to my garrison today on my paladin. when I was setting the stream up. It must be because you were blessed by Krogwa. Just blessed by Krogwa. You are Krogwa. Admit it. Admit it. Admit you're Krogwa. Sounds about right, Frog. Sounds about right, buddy. That is what they said at BlizzCon, summer of 2019. They didn't give an exact date, but that is what they said. So, yeah, that's about what we're looking at for, is summer 2019. Once the BlizzCon stuff becomes non-exclusive and you can actually see it on YouTube, you should really watch the panel that they did on Classic Warcraft and remaking it. It was fascinating as heck. They talked about what they found, what they had, what they didn't have, how they tried to make it work, what didn't work. Showed a lot of developmental pictures. Like, it was legit fascinating. I'm not even a game developer, and I thought the process was fascinating. So, it, even from a perspective of, it cleared up a lot of the rumors going around about what Blizzard did and didn't have, and what they were able to recover and weren't able to. Well, Frog, the idea is to eliminate ninja looting, right? So that people can't go, oops, I didn't mean to loot that. There's a difference, Frog. The loot sharing doesn't affect the gameplay. It just stops it from it just stops people from doing things that contribute to toxicity, right? 16 max debuff was something that was specific to the era. It shaped how people chose what classes to bring to raids, how people chose what classes to play, right? Um, 5-man content is really cool now, Battle Royales. It really is. You got Mythic Plus, you've got laddering, you've got timers in there, you've got different affixes which change how the dungeons work. You raid, you can PvP, you can do island expeditions, you can do war fronts, you can do you want to do your world quests. To get your emissaries. There is a ton of stuff you do at level 120. There is almost too much content, put it to you that way. let's see. Where are those thingamabobbers? Oh, that's the thingamabobber. No battle, I don't. I'm on disability. So, no job. Doing this is pretty much what I'm capable of, so. Sure, you can do that, Frog. But that's a very specific thing. Like, it's one specific instance of toxicity, and I would argue that that is a lot less prevalent than people ninja looting in raids. Yeah. Well, hey there, Mr. Blackhand. What say you and I go and have a dance? By the mighty bee-bear, by the blood of the massive frog toad, I summon the power of the Maloa Mount Drops Ian Hazakostas. You will give me your mount, Blackhand. You will. Drop it. Oh, sure, and I mean, at the end of the day, especially in vanilla, raids are the content that are going to that's going to be the most relevant, right? No mount. Curses. Foiled again. That went really quickly. That's much quicker to do that way than it is to go through the whole raid. Like, ludicrously quicker. I get you, Frog. I do. I get you. I really, I totally get that. I think one of the things that Blizzard really realizes is that the tolerance of the community for the toxicity or bad play Yeah, I'm going to go back to Nalak, Frog, for sure. Cupcake, we had... we're just mount farming. I was just at Blackhand there. There was no mount. And the mount didn't drop. RVM, buddy, I'm doing really well. I'll tell you exactly what happened with the 1-to-120 challenge. We discovered there's a bug. They essentially disabled the monk leveling buff. In so much as it just doesn't exist. And that buff saves me about 9 hours worth of time in between the level 20 to level 80 bracket. Without that buff, it's just simply not possible for me to finish that 1-to-120. It was at the edge of possibility as it was. So when we discovered that and we figured out it wasn't coming back and we discovered why, we stopped the stream and we decided to cut the leveling challenge into 2 parts. Just so there was a chance to actually do it. So we stopped at level 55 after about 22 hours, I believe it was. And we're going to start up again on Friday the 16th. Because on Friday the 16th, the anniversary event begins. During the anniversary event, there's a token that you press and it gives you a buff to your experience while leveling. The amount of the buff is whatever year anniversary it is. So in the 10th anniversary, it was a 10% buff. This year, it'll be a 14% buff. And the token is reusable as much as you want. So it will make up for the lack of the Dark Moon Fair for sure. And it will partially make up for the lack of the monk buff. With that extra 4%. Now, I'm able to use this all the time, whereas the monk buff, while it's 20%, you only get it for an hour. An hour every 10 levels, so. What people were telling me, and I didn't Google this myself, but what people were telling me was Blizzard changed when monks were getting Touch of Death. And because of that, they couldn't do the quest that gives the buff. That is the other thing, Frog, and that's what makes it a lot easier than using, say, the Dark Moon Fair buff. Or teleporting up and getting the monk buff. So, we'll see. I might also use garrison pots when I'm in the level 90 to 100 Draenor zone. Just so I can make up for time lost by losing the monk buff as well. I'll see what happens when we get there, essentially. But because they changed when monks get the Touch of Death, they couldn't do some of the quests that you're needed, where you're supposed to use the Touch of Death to complete the challenge, is my understanding. Now, to me, that's ridiculous. I would argue to the death with Blizzard about that, because I've leveled so many monks that I've done those quests that you're supposed to have the Touch of Death buff, or Touch of Death to finish it, and I've done it without it, because you don't need it. So, to me, it's silly, but hopefully it gets fixed at some point. I mean, honestly, if it doesn't get fixed before the next Dark Moon Fair, I might postpone it the next 1-to-120 by a month after that. Like if we look at December, 8.1 comes out here on December 11th, right? Well, the Dark Moon Fair ends on December the 8th. It's a couple of days before that, so if I were to start here and the monk buff is not available, I would be in the same position I'm in now, only I wouldn't have an anniversary event to cut it into 2 pieces with. So if the monk buff isn't fixed by, say, that Wednesday, I will postpone the 1-to-120 until after 8.1 comes out, because there's a huge buff to the to leveling coming in 8.1. Like, they're reducing the amount of experience needed for a lot of the levels that I would use the monk buff for. Oh, for sure. Like, there's about 4 or 5 different abilities that they showcase for that line. Like I said, that's why I thought it was ridiculous, but... Ooh, look at all the people here. I like that. So I'm just going to sit here and spam my targeting macro for Nalak. Yeah. It's one of those things that and when we discovered it and how we discovered it, was really, and when you're 20 hours into something like that and you discover it. Okay, Battle Royales, take care, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. Glad to have you here. All that stuff, it really took me mentally out of my game. And a lot of that whole challenge is mental. It's all about, I've said it a number of times, it's about wanting to be there, about wanting to do it more than you want anything else. So it's about wanting to level more than you want to sleep. It's about wanting to do that charity run more than you want to sleep. And it's about wanting to play the game more than you want to sleep. So Cupcake, it's pretty good. You know, for the most part, what they do is really good, and I enjoy it, and I have no problem with it. You get the odd things, like apparently the Diablo Immortal thing was handled poorly. Again, I won't comment too much on that just because I don't play Diablo and I didn't watch the announcement, so I can't really say. There is a section of the player base that is deeply and highly toxic and really is looking for reasons to get after Blizzard, and is looking for reasons to call down anything Blizzard does. And they tend to poison the well. You know, one bad apple ruining a barrel type of thing, because that's what the public, the rest of Blizzard's player base, and Blizzard sees more than anything else. It really, really hurts the community. So it hurts Blizzard's response to the community, and I think a really a good example of that is the whole Diablo Immortals thing, when, I guess from what I understand, again, I didn't see it, I can't comment too much on it, but I guess the dev who announced the mobile game, you know, fired back at the crowd, and that should never happen. You know, it's unfortunate. It's a really good point, Frog. It really is. There was a time when Blizzard would essentially bend over backwards for anything they heard was a problem on the forums, and that time was Cataclysm. You know, you just watch the development of Cataclysm, and, you know, at the end of Wrath of the Lich King, people were clamoring for more and harder endgame 5-man content. So, when Cataclysm came out, the heroics were really hard. And So people would complain about how hard the dungeons were, the 5-mans were. And Blizzard lowered the difficulty. So instead of people getting better at the mechanics and doing what they would have done in vanilla, which was learn to communicate and CC and actually obey the mechanics of the dungeon. Yeah, absolutely, Frog. It was the death of heroic. Kata was why Mythic 5-mans needed to happen and why Mythic plus 5-mans needed to happen. I think it was inevitable anyway, but it really was the death of heroic 5-mans being any kind of content. Excellent. Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha where I want ya. Ooh. 115 gold for Nalak? Wow. I mean, it's no mount, but that's still pretty decent. Yep. Actually, let's do this. Well, Cupcake, after Cataclysm, heroic 5-mans were never a challenge again. They became Zergfests because Blizzard downed the difficulty to a point where they were never something that you could look at as a path to... yeah, and their general difficulty, because you got to remember, heroic 5-mans, if you go back to BC, they were a path to gearing, right? They were a path to a way to if you could use them to get tokens to get gear and such things. Same thing in Wrath, but again, people were starting to outgear the content to the point where they didn't have to talk to the people that they were dungeoning with. The solution for that, of course, is to increase the difficulty, add more mechanics to trash packs, which is what they did, right? They made the trash packs harder, made them have more mechanics. People freaked out and complained. Which caused Blizzard to nerf them, which meant that they were no longer relevant in any kind of way. If you wanted to get any meaningful kind of gear before raid, you just had to do the previous raid. Anywho. I have about half an hour before I have to get offline. But that's not enough time to do Siege of Orgrimmar, which would be the next. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get Rookmar. That's why Blizzard finally had to add Mythic difficulty dungeons to Warlords of Draenor. That's why they added challenge modes in MoP, to give us ways to make them difficulty. To make them difficult, right? Okay, so I understand completely what you're saying, buddy. Do what I do and treat the lore of Classic yeah, I mean, Blizzard was responding to what people were asking for. And there came a point, and that point was Mists of Pandaria, I think, where they just started to go, you know what? We're getting so much backlash on stuff that we know is good, and it's from such a small portion of the community. We need to trust ourselves and go with our gut instinct and really do a deep dive on what people are saying rather than just, oh, we've got a million complaints about heroic dungeons being too hard, we better nerf them. So, I mean now it's completely different, right? There's stuff like people talked about, oh, what was some of the big complaints in Legion, like, well, you know, we don't like that we have to, oh yes, that's right, grinding dungeons. I don't think they do, Cupcake, because a lot, if you watch a lot of the developer Q&As, they are listening. You know, one of the issues, and again, I'm not trying to start drama. I would never try and start drama. The person I'm about to talk to, I have the utmost respect for. He is an amazingly smart person. I love his guides. I love watching his videos. I disagree with him on some of his opinions on things. And what I'm about to talk about, I don't necessarily disagree with him about. I think that he uses the term as kind of a bit of a clickbait on his videos. But one of his latest videos, Alar Gaming, talks about Blizzard's finally listening. It's not that they ever stopped listening, it's that they stopped knee-jerking. You know, they stopped having a knee-jerk reaction to every little thing that people complained about and started doing deep dives on them to see where the merit was, right? Yeah, I haven't watched any of Asmongold's stuff recently, so I can't speak to that. But Frog's entirely correct. Like, 8.1 is addressing a lot of the issues. I do believe this is the correct place. So now I'm going to /macro, and I'm going to click on the lack macro. Actually, let's put a new one. And we're going to call this one Rookmar. Oh, crap, I just realized. I don't know how to spell Rookmar. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Rukhmar. Yeah, absolutely. I think they're doing an awesome job with that. Like, they're giving you an Azurite vendor so that you can go and get gear and target gear. And they're giving you ways to earn the currency for that are way past anything that has to do with Mythic 5-mans, right? Mythic plus 5-mans. Which is what they're for. Like, they're there to give you a path to Azurite gear from Mythic plus 5-mans that right at the moment you don't have, because in Mythic Pluses, Azurite pieces don't drop, and you get one per week out of your chest. Well, you have such a huge pool that you're drawing from, it's impossible to sorry, I have to spam this because there's a really good chance I could miss getting a tag on the dude otherwise. Trust me, it's happened a few times on stream. Yeah, 8.1 is going to drop December 11th. There are a lot of really good changes in it. Come on, Rookmar. Itchy, 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 itchy. Anytime I can't actually scratch because I'm trying to concentrate on doing something, that's when I get the itchiest. It's not available yet, Cupcake. It comes out December 11th. 8.1 comes out. They are nerfing the amount of experience needed in a lot of the leveling brackets, which will make it much nicer for people like me who do those kinds of runs. They're adding Azure vendors to get Mythic Plus Azurite gear. Right? No, not yet, but they will be. Soon enough. I mean, it's still a ways before Aldir is going to be done, and I mean, last time I checked, there's still only, what, 300-400 guilds that have cleared Mythic Aldir. So I think they said the new raid and the new dungeon were coming out in 8.1.5, I think is what they said. You should, Cupcake. It's going to be really good. Oh dear. Come on. Gotcha. Gotcha. No, the whole thing, because we're gonna the islands, because there's 2 new islands we're going to, right? Mechagon and Ajatar. That looks interesting. It should, because you're gonna get, like I said, you're gonna get, for pretty much everything you do, you're gonna get this new currency, and I don't know what it's called yet, but that will allow you to purchase pieces of different eye levels that are Azurite gear for different slots, right? Rookmar, the fiery bird, flame bird. There's a really good chance of this dropping because we have the mighty frog toad, the alias of the Loa Cragwa, who is really good at summoning birds, especially fiery ones, when we do mount runs. It's a world boss. It's a Warlords of Draenor world boss, and it should appear like right where my cursor is at the moment. And I'm using a targeting macro. But it's a world boss, so it'll appear every 15 minutes. So I just sit here and spam my targeting macro. Yeah, to be fair, Frog is really, really good at summoning fiery birds and other birds. Why, he summoned the Raven Lord and the Flame Talon of Elis Razor. It's a bird, and we got it on stream. Frog was here. I don't know, Frog. I couldn't tell you. I try never to undercut that much. Maybe he just really wanted to sell them. Absolutely, Cupcake. Sorry, it's so loud. I have missed hitting him before, so I have to sit here and spam the targeting macro. Just like Nalak, he dies so quickly because he's an old world boss, and they tend to die fairly quickly. Although that being said, Azeroth, I have a whole video on my add-ons. The main add-on that I use for my bars and that is called Bartender. One that I use for my UI is called Star Cursor, so there's always this little star, and the faster I go, the bigger the star cursor is, because I lose my cursor really easily. I mean, I also use one called Elite Player Frame Enhanced, that puts a picture of a rare elite mob thing around my portrait, because I'm a rare elite mob. And when I'm leveling, it's a silver dragon instead of gold, so. I also use weak auras to handle my cooldowns, and it shows my energy and how many chi I have, all that good stuff. As well, it can show raid warnings, and I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It says talks about add-ons or something like that. Sorry. It's fairly recent, buddy. If you just go to my videos and scroll back a little bit, you'll find it for sure. Hey, Kevin Lai. How's it going, buddy? I would go and find a link for you, Azeroth Nutty Games. I really would, but I would miss... I know I would miss Rookmar if I did. Because the second I alt-tab, you know darn well that's when he's going to spawn. If you hang around until after I get Rookmar, I will go and find one for you. Hey, Dime. How's it going, buddy? Josh, man, you have a good day, too. What's up with you? We're finishing up a mount farm is what we're doing. Oh, thanks. Frog's got the link for you there. Me too, Kevin. Me too. Thanks, Frog. You rock, buddy. I talk about every single add-on I use, so not all of them are UI related, but... Kevin, I tell you what, I am seriously considering bringing back Old School Mondays and finishing off our Warcraft 3 run. Because we were in the middle of a Warcraft 3 run. Gotcha. Whew. Now I just need to be able to loot you. Gold, no mount. Oh! At least I don't think it dropped the mount. Nope, no mount. Curses! Curse you, Rookmar! 20 gold? Wow, that's horrible. For a world boss, that is absolutely horrible. Nalak dropped 111. That is absolutely horrible. It's true, Frog. It's absolutely true. I know. Even in death he flies. Well, guys, I got to go in about 15 minutes anyway, so I think we're going to just call it there, because the next thing that I would go and do a mount farm for would be Siege of Orgrimmar, and that's going to take way longer than 15 minutes, so... I think we'll call it there. Yeah, no worries, buddy. Not at all. I don't mind answering any question. I just had to keep clicking. I had to keep clicking. Sorry. Like I say, I don't mind answering any question, but I had to keep clicking. Yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can find another stream for you guys. See if there's anybody streaming that's really good. That's really super good. Yeah, it was a pretty fun stream. We didn't get any mounts, but, you know, that happens from time to time. Tomorrow, probably be streaming around the same time as I started today, maybe a little bit later. And we'll continue to finish up the story of Tierguard Sound. I really need to get that done, so... Oh, you know who's streaming? I do have Onyxia. Oh, it dropped Cupcake a couple streams ago. Well, thank you, Azeroth. I much appreciate that. For sure, for sure. Let me just grab a link for you. Hopefully it actually works. If you enjoy insane Canadians who stream, let me give you this guy, because he is a nut bar on the First Order, but really fun to watch as well. He goes by the name of Geeksay. Frog's got it. And right now, I have no idea what he's playing. Looks like Escape from Tarkov is what he's playing. But he is an insane Canadian streamer, and he's definitely worthy of checking out. I always enjoy watching his stuff. So, oh, and remember, guys, fizzle, 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 fizzle. I don't see fizzle. Remember, guys, as well, if you are looking for some COP merchandise, I just started a flash sale on my merch store. Links in the description. Head over there and enjoy. There's a lot of really good stuff there as well. So, anyway, guys, thanks very much for coming by. Much appreciated. Hopefully, we'll see you again tomorrow. Maybe Monday we'll do some chill leveling, just to slacker practice leveling. So, take care. Peace. Cop out.